Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good afternoon everybody. Okay, just now we have talked about what is overpopulation and then what are the causes of overpopulation itself. Okay, and then I have touched a bit on what are the effects of the overpopulation, but not in detail. Therefore, this video here is dedicated to talk about what are the fatal effects of overpopulation itself. Okay, now as you can see, overpopulation is something that undesirable. We don't want that to happen in any place in the world. Of course, when we talk about the urban area or maybe major cities, they are a little bit overpopulated, but not so overpopulated. A little bit overpopulated, but then again, still manageable. Okay, now so what happened here is when we talk about the fatal effects of overpopulation, number one, what are the effects? Number one is the depletion of the natural resources. Depletion of natural resources. Okay. Why we are talking about the depletion of natural resources? As we have many mouths to feed, what happened here is you need lots of resources. And then what happened here is the resources that you have will be depleted fast. And the issues here is when you are depleting in resources, what happened here is you need to find for the replacement. And then the replacement can be either you import from the outside country or the foreign countries, or you take certain measures in order to make your agriculture activities, or any other activities that contribute to the resources itself to become more intensive. Okay, more intensive. We know for a fact that certain countries has the ability or have the abilities to generate their own resources. But then again, you need to remember, even though they have the abilities to do that, they need to find ways to make it more intensive in order to accommodate more and more people. Therefore, this is one of the fatal effects. Okay, and then we move on to the second. The second one will be the degradation of environment. Degradation means that it is all about hygienic degradation of environment. Okay, in this, what happened here is you will have a situation that will be less hygienic. You need to remember one thing: when we have lots of people, we are attending to different kind of behaviors. Some of the people have common sense, but most are not, because we are considering that common sense is like a superpower. Therefore, you will have people that can simply throw rubbish anywhere they want, or maybe do something that is what we call that least preferable in the public. What happened here is you can see that they will be an occurrence of the degradation of environment. Means that in terms of hygienic, certain places would become what we call that certain places would become more dirtier, okay, dirtier, and certain places also we will see a pile of garbage will be piling up. Okay, so when we talk about the degradation of environment, it can be anything. It can be either the condition itself, lots of garbage, or number two, maybe you have lots and lots of people coming into your place, and then they have some sort of maybe motorcycle or even motor car. And then what happened here is it can simply pollute the air. It can give the air pollution. It can badly affect the quality of air because of the vehicles. And then not to mention the industries itself. As you have more and more people coming to your place, there will be lots of industries, lots of businesses, lots of commercial areas will be opened up. Therefore, when we have that kind of thing, it is 100% sure that there will be degradation of the environment. The place might be cleaner, but then again, when you look around and when you see the quality of the air, you can see that how degraded the situation is. Okay, now we go for the next one. I would say that for certain places which overpopulated, there might be conflicts. That might be conflicts, or even maybe quarrel, or maybe you can see also the situation that is a little bit unpleasant. You need to remember one thing: when you are overpopulated, you are actually sharing your space with others, and then at certain times, what happened here is maybe the behaviors of you or other people is quite unacceptable, and this can bring into argument, and the argument can quickly turn to fight. Therefore, when you have or when you are staying in an overpopulated places, what happened here is conflicts cannot be avoided. You will have conflicts either with your neighbors or maybe person that is surrounding your areas. So therefore, conflicts is inevitable or unavoidable. And then what happened here is you will experience a reducing quality of life. And then when you are staying in the overpopulated area, remember, overpopulated area means that it cannot accommodate more than it could. Okay, people who are residing in that place is actually exceeding than the number that the place can accommodate. So what happened here is you can see the rise of unemployment, rise of unemployment. Lots and lots of people are actually not being able to find jobs, because you need to remember, jobs, yes, it can accommodate certain number of vacancies. But then again, if there are so many people there, what happened here is some of them will not get employed. And what happened here is this can lead to crime, in which people who don't get any job or people who are unemployed, when they are in a distress situation or maybe some sort of situation that forces them to do crime in order to feed themselves, okay, what happened here is this will actually badly affected the police. And then what happened here is it can rise fear among people who are staying there. Therefore, overpopulation or overpopulated place is actually something that is not desired by any places at all. Even for bigger cities such as Tokyo, and then cities like KL, for example, or Bangkok. Yes, there are lots of people there, but then again, it is manageable. Jobs are still enough, and then after that the facilities are still enough, and then after that in terms of hygienic it is not as bad. But then again, if you go to certain countries, you can see how overpopulation itself can actually kills the place, can actually what we call that tarnish the place in terms of the reputation, and make the foreign visitors, for example, make foreign visitors becoming scared in order to visit those places. Okay, therefore, these are the things that we need to consider in the future. Okay, next one. Then you need to remember, when we talk about the overpopulation itself, you need to remember the supplied item, especially the groceries and other kind of items. The number of supplied items is actually lesser than the number of demand. So if you know what is the graph of supply and demand, you surely knows that when the amount of demand is actually exceeding the number of supply, the price will increase. When the price increase, that leads to high cost of living. And I'm sure I don't have to explain this further, as you will know what are the kind of impacts that you will face whenever you have a high cost of living. And then after that, you have something that we call as the pandemics and epidemics. Lots and lots of people, and then after that, less hygienic condition, and then at the same time also lots and lots of people are getting unemployed, and then the high cost of living itself, it restricted the access for these kind of people towards something, especially healthcare. So when you don't have a good access for healthcare, it can easily create pandemics and epidemics. When you have a disease that is a transferable or communicable disease, what happened here is if you are not getting treated, and it can lead to the rise of pandemics and epidemics. Okay, you need to remember that. Why this happened? Because you need to remember, number one, hygienic. You have less hygienic situation, and then after that, maybe you have lots and lots of conflicts in which what happened here is there will be some sort of contact between you and other people who might be infected by the disease. And then after that, maybe some people are unemployed, and then when they are unemployed, they don't have money. When they don't have money, they could not accommodate or they could not afford to buy things, the groceries, or even the healthcare because of the price itself. And therefore, what happened here is when they are restricted in getting those basic necessities, what happened here is pandemics and epidemics are easily to be triggered. Okay, it is actually a chain of reaction, a chain of situation in which it will lead from this to others. Okay. And then the next one, you will have the problem of malnutrition, starvation, and famine. Okay, malnutrition, starvation, and famine. Okay, starvation and famine. In Malaysia, okay, you won't have this kind of problem itself, because you will see that lots and lots of NGOs are actually working together in order to make sure that people who are homeless or people who are what we call that having difficulties in life, they would get the basic necessities, which is food, clothes, and shelters at least. Okay, and then what happened here is, but then again, in certain countries, these are the thing that is quite common. This is a common sight for certain countries. I'm not going to mention any other countries, but then again, you will know that certain countries that are overpopulated, you can see this problem right away. But right now, for countries like us, like Bangkok, for example, okay, it is still manageable. You can still help this kind of people who are having difficulties in life to strive. You can provide them with jobs, you can provide them with food, you can provide them with shelter. It's just the matter of whether they want to take it or not, or they want to take that opportunity or not. Okay, now the next one. The next one is related to our basic necessities, which is the water itself. So whenever you become overpopulated, okay, and then you have more and more people to feed, what happened here is the sources of water also will become a little bit what we call that restricted, or you will have a water shortage, in which when you are overpopulated, what happened here is you will have less access to the fresh water, because lots and lots of people are using that. Okay, and then what happened here is if you have least, or what we call that, you have less access to water, especially the fresh water itself, what happened here is it can affect your entire daily life situation. For example, if you are a small business, if you are opening a small business, what happened here is maybe you might face some sort of problems whenever you try to cook, or whenever you try to create your or maybe cook your food, or maybe cook your and then make your drink, for example. So this kind of problem actually will not be affecting on the basic things in your life. We are not only talking about cleaning up yourself, or maybe for your own drinking, but then again, it is actually affecting lots and lots of spectrum. Okay, lots and lots of spectrum. And then after that, the next one here is you will have lower life expectancy. Lower life expectancy. Okay. So when you have a lower life expectancy, it means that you have a reduced access to healthcare. As I said before, when you are not unemployed, or maybe you are employed but with minimum wage, and then after that you cannot afford things, and you cannot afford to have a good healthcare, what happened here is you will have lower life expectancy. Yes, you can go to the government hospital, any government hospital, but then again, in order to have a better life expectancy, what happened here is you must have access to buy certain vitamins, certain supplement, in order to make sure that your body function properly. Okay, so if you don't, yes, you can still live a longer life, but then again, for most, they might have a lower life expectancy. You need to remember, no money, less access to healthcare, malnutrition, starvation, and famine. That is the perfect combination that can reduce your lifespan. Okay, therefore, these are all the kind of what we call that effects, or the fatal effects that you can see whenever the place are overpopulated. And you need to make sure that we are not the only one that should play the role. The government also, they have their role, but then again, we also have our own role. So our own role is to make sure that whenever you are living in an overpopulated area, and especially whenever you are dealing with people who are what we call that experiencing poverty, and at the same time also lack of education, you could try to increase awareness among themselves. You could try increase the awareness, okay? And then try to educate them. Try to educate them why it is important to what we call that, keep everything clean, okay? In terms of hygienic things, you need to increase the level of the hygienic itself. It should be more hygienic, okay? Their surrounding, their houses, and then what we call it, the surrounding area that surround their houses should be clean. And then after that also, we need to educate them how to actually getting employed or maybe self-employed by doing something based from the internet itself. As you know, in 2021, it is not a norm anymore to go to the office, work for somebody. You can actually work for yourself, do something on the internet. You can do any kind of freelancing works and then get paid. When you are getting paid, you actually can increase what we call that, the economic situation that you are in right now. Okay. The key takeaway, now I'm going to speak in Malay. The key takeaway here is, number one, anda mesti tahu yang apabila kita mempunyai masalah overpopulation, apa yang akan jadi adalah kita akan kekurangan sumber semula jadi. Okay, sumber semula jadi ataupun the resources itself. Jadi apa yang kita kena buat adalah, kalau kita tak cukup, kita kena import daripada luar. Tapi kalau kita cukup ataupun kita mampu untuk menjana sumber-sumber tersebut, kita perlu jana dengan lebih agresif, dengan lebih intensif. Contohnya kalau misalnya kata kita boleh jana padi untuk makan nasi. Jadi apa yang kita kena buat adalah kita kena cari jalan macam mana kita nak jana padi ni supaya boleh beri makan untuk satu bandar contohnya, ataupun satu bandaraya contohnya, yang ada mungkin 5 juta orang, 10 juta orang. Kita kena cari jalan itu. Yang kedua sekali adalah apabila kita menghadapi masalah terlebih populasi ataupun overpopulation ni, masalah keduanya adalah dari segi suasana, keadaan alam sekitar ataupun keadaan sekeliling kita akan mengalami kemerosotan dari segi kebersihan. Tempat akan jadi kurang bersih. Kenapa? Apabila ramai orang yang berada di tempat kita, apa yang akan jadi adalah tempat tersebut akan menjadi kurang bersih kerana kita berhadapan dengan orang yang pelbagai ragam. Ada orang yang begitu menjaga kebersihan, ada juga orang yang tidak menjaga kebersihan. Jadi kalau misalnya kata kita berhadapan dengan situasi tersebut, maka tempat itu akan menjadi agak kotor. And then seterusnya konflik. Kenapa berlaku konflik? Apabila kita duduk di kawasan yang agak sempit dan kita sebenarnya berkongsi tempat kita itu dengan orang lain, sebenarnya ini boleh menimbulkan konflik. Contoh katakan kita duduk dekat kawasan yang sempit. Kawasan yang sempit tu pula anda mungkin bergaduh tentang benda-benda yang mungkin pada kita remeh. Seperti contohnya orang letak kereta depan rumah. Ataupun mungkin jiran letak pasu bunga masuk kawasan rumah kita. That kind of things can actually create conflict. Tambah-tambah pula kalau anda duduk dekat kawasan yang sempit dan jiran anda ataupun orang sekeliling anda sebenarnya mencerobohi anda punya tempat tinggal ataupun tempat personal anda. Jadi di situ mungkin berlakunya konflik. Konflik akan menjadi perbalahan, perbalahan akan menjadi pergaduhan. Next one, kita ada rise of unemployment. Maksudnya kadar orang yang tidak bekerja itu sangat tinggi. Kenapa? Kalau kamu pergi dekat bandar yang populasinya terlampau ramai, job ataupun kita panggil job availability ataupun keberadaan kerja itu sendiri pun akan menjadi lagi kurang. Sebab ya betul, syarikat-syarikat boleh memberikan anda kerja. Tapi kalau terlampau ramai, syarikat-syarikat yang ada di situ berkemungkinan tidak mampu memberikan kerja. Jadi akhirnya ramai orang yang akan jadi unemployed. And then selepas itu pula seterusnya kita akan bercakap tentang high cost of living. Maksudnya kos hidup yang sangat tinggi. Okay, kos hidup yang sangat tinggi. Sebab anda kena tahu dekat sini, apabila kita ada ramai orang tetapi pada masa yang sama bahan ataupun barang-barang yang ada dekat tempat tu kurang, maka ini akan menyebabkan kita panggil permintaan meningkat dan pekedai-pekedai atau peniaga akan menaikkan harga barang. Ini adalah undang-undang supply and demand yang basic. Kalau anda ada barang yang kurang tapi permintaan tinggi, harga akan dinaikkan. Jadi daripada itu kita akan menghadapi masalah high cost of living. And then seterusnya, you akan ada dari segi masalah dari segi malnutrition, starvation dengan famine. Apa tu malnutrition, starvation dengan famine? Maksudnya kurangnya nutrisi, kekurangan nutrisi, lepas tu pula kebuluran, lepas tu pula kelaparan, starvation and famine. Famine maksudnya kebuluran lah. Yang mana kalau misalnya kata orang tak ada kerja, tak boleh beli barang makanan dan akhirnya anda sendiri akan kebuluran. Sebenarnya benda-benda ni boleh menyebabkan jenayah. Semua masalah ni sebenarnya akhirnya akan berakhir dengan jenayah. Apabila orang menjadi terdesak, maka mereka tiada pilihan lain selain daripada melakukan jenayah. Sebab kerja dah tak ada. Nak cari kerja tak boleh. Lepas tu pada masa yang sama, anda tidak tahu lubuk-lubuk kerja yang ada di internet sebagai contoh. Maka anda tak ada pilihan lain selain daripada melakukan jenayah. And then seterusnya, okey, seperti yang kita lihat kat sini, dari segi lower life expectancy, maksudnya kadar jangka hayat tu berkurang. Kenapa berkurang? Sebabnya satu, tak ada duit. Bila tak ada duit, makanan pun mungkin kurang kualiti ataupun makanan pun tidak cukup zat. Nombor tiga, kalau anda sakit, anda mungkin ada sedikit had dari segi mendapatkan bantuan perubatan. Sebab kalau pergi hospital, mungkin hospital kerajaan, yes, you boleh dapat treatment. Tapi kadang-kadang apabila kita nak pastikan badan kita ni sihat, kita perlukan suplemen, makanan-makanan tambahan. Makanan-makanan tambahan ni kalau nak beli kena ada duit. Okey. And then lepas pula last kali kita bercerita tentang water shortage ataupun kekurangan air ataupun krisis air. Kenapa krisis air? Semakin ramai orang yang berada di sesuatu kawasan, semakin banyak penggunaan air. Kamu kena ingat ni, air ni datang daripada kawasan tadahan air. Yang mana kawasan tadahan air ni pun dia punya, kita panggil reservoir ataupun simpanannya terhad. Bermaksud lagi ramai orang pakai, lagi cepat dia habis. Lagi kurang orang pakai, lagi lambat dia habis. Jadi kalau terlampau ramai orang, akhirnya kita akan berhadapan dengan krisis air. Okey, jadi itu saja untuk kali ini. Kalau ada apa-apa soalan ataupun mungkin penerangan yang agak mengelirukan, anda boleh tulis dalam ruangan komen di bawah. Itu saja untuk hari ini. Terima kasih banyak semua. Assalamualaikum.